I was just looking at my videos, and I uploaded the video regarding the Together event, and I said, "Boys, is this ripe for a false flag?" What was the title of that? The big event at the DC Mall tomorrow, ripe for a false flag? Question mark. That was posted a day ago. Well, according to YouTube, technically it was Friday night evening. So here it is, Sunday. It looks like they missed it by a date. Another police shooting, Baton Rouge, 3 killed, 1 injured, I believe. Um, all the truthers out there, the hoaxers out there, wait until all the video evidence, all the eyewitness evidence. Does Anderson Cooper show up? Does he not show up? Do they interview him on their couch? You know, the old Anderson Cooper style way. If yes, we may have us a problem. If no, we may have us another same situation as the Dallas, Texas shooting, which is some black men getting very pissed off about these shootings of their own um, brothers, if you will, and are deciding to attack police officers. Now, I find it kind of disturbing and yet interesting that Obama is meeting with some of these top Black Lives Matters protesters. And a lot of these people who are doing these shootings are purportedly members of this organization, along with other organizations such as Black Panthers. So, when the president of your country starts meeting with some of these people, do you think that's even a tiny bit suspicious? Like, what in the hell's going on around here? I certainly do. So again, Sunday they couldn't let the old together meeting Saturday happen with nothing. Yeah, a whole day went by. Let's go do something Sunday. And again, you have to understand that I personally, and I'm sure a lot of you do too, will question: is it really just some black man deciding I've had enough, or are they being egged on? Because if you have incidences, which we have many times in this country, where the FBI uses a patsy to do something, they egg someone on to do something, and the person normally wouldn't do it. A lot of times the person has been found, oh, they've had mental problems. In other words, they weren't quite stable themselves, mental issues, were on prescription medications, and the FBI, well, we got this terrorist today. He was going to use a weapon or a bomb to try to shoot down a plane. There's numerous stories of this kind of stuff, for the last decade or so. And you have to question, well, would the person have done it if they weren't pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed by this FBI informant? So I would question now, are these people doing this, these shootings, being egged on by a federal agency you know so well that already has a history of doing such a thing? Got to ask the hard questions, got to ask the tough questions. So before anyone reaches out immediately and calls this thing a hoax or it's completely fake and they got actors and all that crap, do us all a favor who seek the truth. Wait until you get all the possible evidence compiled, all the video, all the eyewitnesses. Again, watch for Anderson Cooper. Do they use the fake green screen? Do they have the fake people on TV crying? Not fake people, but the people fake crying. I just lost my son, and my only son. Where are your tears at, lady? And why, again, why, when you move your eyes up with your glasses, do I see green screen like old J4 is using right now? Off your glasses, I see the monitor, I see a teleprompter, I see a giant light, and again, the monitor, and even a little exit sign in the background. Emergency exit out back door. So let's look for those things. It's real easy to determine. They have essentially a process, a blueprint when it's a hoax. Roll Anderson Cooper, fake, news anchor, put him in front of a green screen with one of the alleged victims, parents or somebody who's grieving their son or daughter who's not even grieving, many times can be found snickering at big fat shit-eating grins on their face. Yeah, my son, he was something else. Excuse me, ma'am. He just died 7 hours ago, 8 hours ago. What is this? You're already over it. You're okay now. No tears. No. That's how you know when they're the hoaxes. So let's just stand by. Again, I said last year, be prepared for more of these events, whether it's a false flag, whether it's a hoax, whatever it is, you just keep watching. More of this will come and it will happen more frequently. I keep saying that recently because these things are absolutely happening, which tells me whatever the club has in store for the rest of this year, like this giant collapse of the economy that we've been talking about for so long, I see this stuff as a go sign. I said this last year when the 23rd came around, all those movies were pointing to the 23rd of September, and I said, I know there was no necessarily a big move today. I said, but I will bet you this marks like it's go time. All the club knows these events, the movies and stuff leading up to that date. It was a very important date. It was the Shemitah cycle, 7-year cycle, which starts this Jubilee year that ends again the same time frame this year, September 23rd or so. But it was go time. So that was my claim, that I felt like it was go time with this crap. And then we saw things unfolding, and then more frequently, and it's happening. So paying attention to that stuff, I think I was right about the go time last year. I think they're definitely going to try to pull this off later this year. And we might, in fact, I mean, you have to understand, Lindsey Williams said the President Obama is looking for an excuse to allow himself to stay in the office longer than the 2 terms, which is the most one person can be a president in the United States, according to our Constitution. He said that the club told him, the elite told him, they don't want Donald Trump in there under any circumstances, yet they already know he will win it. They can't have that happen. They also do not want Obama to stay in office because they know that's going to cause some major civil unrest. They also don't want that. They want a peaceful transition into their alleged New World Order system. So that means Hillary has to get the nod. But according to him, they don't want that either. Or not, they do. Obama doesn't. He wants to stay in. So is this going to escalate even worse, and then worse again, and then worse again before we get to the elections? And then he has to postpone the elections due to so much civil unrest across the country and police officers being killed. And I'm in fear of people's lives of voting. Imagine if you start to go to the polls, right? And all of a sudden, orchestrated by whomever, shootings over at this polling place, shootings at that point. Oh my God, we've got to halt the elections. You can't blame the president. You can't blame Obama. He's trying to do the right thing. We got to have everyone have a fair chance to vote, and if people are shooting people, we got to postpone this so we can figure out how to fix this problem. I'm going to end this video by repeating something that George Bush Sr., Papa Bush, Papa of the New World Order system, when he was the first one to speak about it, when he said, "We will be and when we're successful with this New World Order, and we will be successful, you can imagine a law, blah blah blah, lay of the land, blah blah blah." He was interviewed by a lady, and at some point she asked him, "Do you watch the news?" I don't know where it came from, but she asked him that. He goes, "No, never watch the news." "Oh, you never watch the news?" "Nope." "How come?" You want to know his response was? "Because I already know what it's going to be." You don't suppose that old George Bush Sr., you know, Skull and Bones member, Secret Society member, you name it, already knew what the news was going to be today by chance, do you? I bet he did. I bet he did know what the news was going to be today about some more officers getting shot. Again, because people think, well, let's say there's a highly classified operation. The CIA's, got their hitmen out there and they're actually killing cops and blaming it on these people. Like, let's just go crazy for a second with these crazy theories. Let's say that that's actually true. The average person is going to say, there's no American that's going to start shooting at cops because he's paid to do. No way. Uh, did they shoot the president of the United States, John F. Kennedy? Yeah, they did. Did they shoot his brother, who they knew would also win the presidency should he run? Absolutely. He got killed too. Did they try to kill Ronald Reagan? Keep in mind, Vice President George Bush Sr., who would have immediately taken power of the country then. They tried to kill him. He got injured, I believe, but did not die. So you can see a police officer compared to the president, whoever's doing these jobs, no problem. They'd have no problem killing anyone for any reason. So I do want to throw that out there in case anyone thinks, because the way our mind, your mind, my mind thinks is this is horrible. I could never see myself doing that. You couldn't pay me enough to make me do that. It's disgusting. I don't think I could live with myself the rest of my life knowing I did this. Exactly. But that's you and I. The people who do this kind of stuff, they have no problem. It's kind of like you hear these stories, guy, we caught this mass murderer and he just actually cut someone up and put him in his refrigerator, went, sat down and had a sandwich and watched TV. You and I hear that thinking, put ourselves in his mind somehow, just stab someone, kill them, dismember them, put them in the refrigerator. It makes you want to throw up thinking about it. Yet this guy, completely normal, just another day at the office. So there are people who exist that way, like that. There are also people who exist who are very easily converted into being a patsy. Again, to go back to the George Bush thing. I'll search for this right now because there's something I didn't know for the longest time. Ronald Reagan assassination attempt. And I'm going to put George Bush, friend, because Neil Bush and John Hinckley's brother. Ready for this? Hinckley was the guy that tried to kill Reagan. Attempted to shoot him. He shot. He was injured. They got the guy, nabbed him. The family of the man charged with trying to assassinate President Reagan is acquainted with the family of Vice President George Bush. And this is Associated Press, Domestic News, March 31st, 1981. Okay. The family of the man charged with trying to assassinate President Reagan is acquainted with the family of Vice President George Bush, Papa Bush, and had made large contributions to his political campaign, the Houston Post reported today. The newspaper said in a copyright story, Scott Hinckley, brother of John W. Hinckley Jr., who allegedly shot Reagan, was to have dined tonight in Denver at the home of Neil Bush, one of the vice president's sons. The newspaper said it was unable to reach Scott Hinckley, I guarantee, vice president of his father's Denver-based firm, Vanderbilt Energy Corp. Huh. Vanderbilt. Hang on, I may have just uncovered something else live. Vanderbilt Anderson Cooper. CIA Anderson Cooper? No kidding. Anderson Cooper, Wikipedia. Cooper's older brother, Carter Vanderbilt, same exact spelling, Vanderbilt Cooper, whose mother is Vanderbilt. I wonder if by chance we just found us a little puzzle piece, little interrelated puzzle piece. But the point of me reading you this is to show you a close friend of the family, the club, the mafioso, pulls the trigger on a standing president. The vice president's friend's son pulls the trigger on the current standing president back in 1981. The same vice president, George Bush, was seen standing in front of the auditorium when JFK was shot. Then he was a CIA agent. Are you seriously going to tell me that everyone surrounding this man just happens to be a friend of a friend who tries to murder someone? And that story I told you about Bush being asked, do you watch the news? And she said no. She asked him. He says no. She says, you never watch the news. Why not? And he says, I already know what it's going to be. After filling you in with that little bit of history, factual history I just gave you, do you think again Papa Bush knew what the news was going to be today about these officers, as well as back in Houston when they got shot, those officers? Now, granted, the answer is purely based off of circumstantial nonsense out of Jay Snip4's mouth. Or is it? You decide. Take care.